μπάλα ξεκίνεται στο γήπεδο, πλησιάζει την περιοχή και...
Κατέβασε και εσύ το Bet On Alfa app και μην χάσεις ούτε ένα γκολ. Bet On Alfa. Ανεβήκαμε κατηγορία.
Edo. Sajin, man. It's freezing. Welcome to No Choftes. Brought to you by Bet On Alfa. This is a different kind of No Choftes, man, because we haven't done something like this in a while. We're going to be talking about the Premier League. We're going to be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo's comments, or the ones that we've heard so far anyway. A bit about the World Cup. And we might do a bit of FPL if Rod can be bothered. But welcome, Rod. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. There's a shadow, like, it's not even me. Where is this coming from? Is there like Dracula above it? Fucking hell. There's a shadow above my head. I don't know where it's coming from. What is it? Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, how's things?
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, it was good till. Yeah, it's just all gone mad on it again. Go over Cristiano. It feels like it. Just constantly talking about Ronaldo.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done it much on this podcast.
No, not
just in general.
Just in general, yeah.
In general, yeah. All right. Well, look, let's get
pretty annoying.
Mr. Eyre on the pod.
It's always after. Sorry, it's pretty annoying. It's always after a good win.
Yeah, true. Well, he's got to make it about himself, I guess. You know, get it stuck on. Let's get Steve on. Hello, Mr. Eyre. Welcome to the show.
Hello, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Long time no speak. Well,
mate.
Long time since I did the pod. So yeah.
You okay?
You well?
All good.
Excellent. Well, we were just about to start talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, but I thought since I'm trying to segue a bit of professionalism, the word professionalism. Do you get what I'm saying? And some people are professional and some people aren't. But I've got to give a shout out to Roy, who tonight was on Total Green, the Omonoia channel. But there's one thing I noticed right at the end of the pod, and do you know what, the show, I'm sure he's going to get pissed off with me for doing this, but at the end of every episode, you kind of expect to see some credits. Do you get what I'm saying? People say good night, yada, 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 and then the credits come up and then it fades to black. Well, I just want to show you guys what happened tonight. You don't need to understand Greek. You just need to see what happened. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Wait for it.
What was that?
Well, they were meant to just cut it off, but Roy's just picking up all the fucking equipment and sticking it on the table. It's like, what the fuck is this? Oh no, he's gonna hate me for this, man. I know he's gonna hate me.
Absolute amateur hour.
I'm sorry. I literally had about 5 minutes to put it up. And and I thought, fuck it, let me just cut it out and do a fucking thing. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, boys,
looks a good little setup, that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I mean, it took them about 2-3 months to fucking get it sorted, but they got there in the end. I mean, the first week they had problems with the sound quality, but they're doing well. They're doing really well, and it's quite an entertaining show as well. So I've got to give it to them. But yeah, anyway.
Rod, have you still got your studio? Are you still in your studio? Do you still use that?
No, you know what? We got rid of it last. Was it last month? We gave the keys back last month. Wasn't really using it.
Right.
It's just like, you know, when you get home from work or you're doing what you're doing today, just to drive all the way, because I live in Bolton, it was just a ball ache. So I was hardly using it. So I was paying like £300 a month. So I just got rid of it.
Okay.
Well, whereabouts was the studio?
It was Salford Keep. It was literally
near the courts.
No, it's outside Salford Magistrates. Yeah. Yeah, I know it well.
You must have seen. Well, I'd say what it must be one of the safest places to have equipment. don't think much is
Well,
going to
it's
happen around
not
there.
Salford Courts anymore. They've turned them into flats.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Salford Magistrates is now in town. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I've not been at that one yet.
now, don't want people to get the wrong impression. Fucking hell. All right, let's talk about this Premier League season because, as we know, the break is, they call it a break. I don't really think it's much of a break, is it? Let's get it right. It's a postponement until the World Cup is done.
Well, it's 30 degrees, so, at least you can enjoy the weather.
Yeah, true. And 14 games, or most teams are on 15 at the moment. So Arsenal are top on 37 points, City second on 32. Then you've got Newcastle on 30, blimey. Tottenham 29 points, United 26, Liverpool 22. And then
People got games in hand on each other, haven't they? City have got a game in hand on a couple. United have got a game in hand on a Newcastle and Everton. No, Tottenham.
Yeah, Man United face, I think Leeds are Man United's game in hand, if I'm not mistaken.
So, but no, it's getting tight up there. You'd expect with the start City had, I think they expect them to run away with it, but you got to give credit to Arsenal. They're doing well.
Steve, when you look at Arsenal so far under Arteta, I think we did a season preview. When was it? It was about 2 weeks before the season started, and we had a few of the boys on from the old gang on Shoot Defense, and one of them, Polari, was waxing lyrical about Arteta. Has he surprised you? Given back end of midway through last season, there was a talk about him possibly getting the chop.
Well, yeah, you'd have to say, he's surprised because no one would expect them to be clear at the top of the Premier League when he was, there were shouts for him to go, and the Arsenal TV were going mad, and the documentary came out. I think by all accounts, I've not seen it. I think you two guys have, but the documentary, it comes across in a really good light. Clearly a good coach. He's obviously had a fantastic mentor. And just going back to what Rhodri said 2 or 3 times last season, they've got rid of the nonsense now with Aubameyang, who's since, he's at his second club since leaving. Do you know what I mean? And, there doesn't appear to be discipline issues. Saka is definitely benefiting now from, say, the next block of 30 games that he's played. He's a different player again. Maybe even the Euros experience that he's come through mentally of missing the penalty. But probably key to it, I think Odegaard, for the same thing, he's put a block of work in 30 games or something like that. So he's in the next phase now where he's really a top Premier League player. And I do, despite the social media presence and media nonsense that he seems attracted to, with Ramsdale in goal being a good goalkeeper, growing into being a good goalkeeper, he's absolutely fantastic with his feet. So they've got a good base at the back. They've got a young defence that are all fit at the moment. And no, they're in a really good place. I'm not surprised now that they're winning the games that they are, but from where they are at the top of the Premier League, from where they were, is the surprise, yeah.
Rod, Ben White at right back. Jesus, who'd have thunk it, man? He's doing a hell of a job there.
No, well, I'm sure growing up, like all academies do, the players play in different positions. So I'm sure he's played there before, but to excel there and to play as well as he does play as centre half, then it's credit to him, and he's got his rewards by going to World Cup of England. So yeah, we've all got them in our FPL side, so they're in there for a reason. They're doing well at the minute. There's 6 points guaranteed, some of them every week. So, but yeah, they've started well. You just worry with Arsenal if they get a couple of injuries, is the squad strong enough? But yeah, to touch on what Steve said, I did watch the documentary. He did come across very well. He did some silly things that I didn't agree with, but we're not all going to agree with everything. That the Anfield thing, I think he was a bit emotional with. I think he's still obviously a bit emotional with that way he acted himself when he was at Anfield playing for Arsenal, how he folded a bit and he didn't want his team to do that. So I think that still affects him today, which is strange. But no, yeah, they're doing well. They're doing really well. Just like I say, just worry. Say Jesus gets an injury, Odegaard, who seems to be doing well for him. Partey's really strong. Like you say, the defence is really good. And Saka, they've got Martinelli. Zaka, who's come on leaps and bounds off that documentary. People see the personal side of him and have warmed to him. So yeah, everything's rosy there at the minute.
I've heard a really interesting stat that Granit Xhaka has never been sent off for a second yellow. It's always been straight reds.
Really?
That's unbelievable. When I was told that, I was like, nah, you got to be joking. But
well, that just tells you then that he is a disciplined player. He just has a head loss moments where he just loses his head, just red mist. Because if you're in a yellow card, you've never been sent off, and you're in the middle of the park, once you've got a yellow card, you can't be doing anything daft. So he's disciplined not to get the other one to get sent off. He just gets sent off for stupid things.
Yeah, that's right. Sam's made a good point here. Arsenal bought well in the summer, and Saliba, he looks like a new signing. A couple of years on loan, he did well, didn't he? Where was he? Was he on Marseille? Or was it Saint-Etienne? I can't remember where he was at on loan, wherever he was, but he did
the most important thing you said there, Stel, is they're young. It's good experiences they're having now, and if they stick together as a group, it can only bode well for Arsenal.
Steve, what about Martinelli, mate? I was going to ask you about Jesus, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory with him. He's come on leaps and bounds. Martinelli has really stepped up this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, like I said, just honestly, what I've said about Saka and Odegaard, you could say it about most of them. They're not rookies. They're not cutting the teeth. They're at a fantastic age. And it's like they've gone through the first bit of development as first-team players. And that's behind them now. It feels like there's a whole batch of them in the second phase who are all benefiting from playing for the national teams, playing in the Premier League, 20, 30 times. They're not the same players they were when they started. It feels like it's almost like a purple patch of development where, they're all that at the same time. And it's like gathering momentum, and momentum can be a really powerful thing.
Right. What about your boys then, Steve? City, second place, lost at the weekend to Brentford. Sorry, say Brian Brentford. 2 Tony goals, and I'll tell you what, I watched that game and I've never felt so underwhelmed watching City. It's almost as if they're holding onto the ball for too long. The decision making in the final third was sloppy, and that's a nice way of putting it. It must have been a frustrating day at the office for most of the players. But do you think they had one eye on the World Cup?
Well, I do. I was at the game and I thought quite a few of them looked heavy-legged. They definitely looked thick round the legs, short of a yard of speed and energy. And I do think they did have on the World Cup, the minds on the World Cup. I think there was possibly just Haaland of the starting team that isn't going. But I want to give the credit to Brentford first and foremost, because they were absolutely terrific. I've seen teams come to the Etihad and they bank up behind the ball and they hope for the best and basically try and keep the score down. But the plan for Brentford was to get back into a back five as quick as possible and then get 3 in midfield tight and then get the 2 strikers back in their own half. But the key to it, Stel and Rhodri, was the first pass once they'd got the ball back off City, or the first breakaway, ended up with them passing forward cleverly, smartly, to get a second pass to give them an attack. The other teams haven't done that in the Premier League this year. They basically give the ball back to City. So well done for Brentford for getting back behind the ball. But what they did on the break, Rico Henry speeding down the wing, Tony coming back, speeding back up front, making good substitutions, keeping energy and speed in the game. But it's the way they broke, having defended and secured the first pass or two to give them a chance of going up to score. To tell you that they could have been 2-0 up after 4 minutes and Tony could have scored 4 in the whole game tells you how well Brentford played. So credit to them. But City were off the pace and, basically deservedly had the backsides handed to them.
With it being your position, what do you think of Rico Henry, seeing him close up?
I don't blame. Nothing like. I don't blame. He can run for a start, and he can play footy. But I mean, my eyes were drawn to him. How he was so quick. I know there are other fullbacks, Lamptey and people like that, and even like Jeffrey Schlupp, if you like, who were like wingers at fullback. But this guy was tucking round behind the defence, but he was just speeding up and down the wing.
Has he got such a nasty call about him?
Yes. Yes. And I like Zinchenko. But I looked at Cancelo, who's becoming more of a liability. And what I will tell you this is, Rod, that, you know, that right foot of his and those passes that he risks, but he's now getting sent off books and giving big goals away in big games. I did look at Rico Henry and think, you could play for City, you. That's what I thought at the game on Saturday. And a special mention for Ben Mee. Obviously, I used to coach him, captain of the U team at City. I've seen him have his teeth knocked out. I've seen him have his eyebrows gashed. And to tell you that he played with his suit on. He hardly got a sweat on. He was so experienced and comfortable in the role. And that shows you again how well Brentford played, because Ben Mee had one of the best comfortable games I've seen at left centre-back I've ever seen at the Etihad.
Well, with them playing that position when they get behind the ball, it doesn't allow City to, when the ball comes out and recycles, and they just keep coming at you again, don't they?
Very true. But what they did do, Rod, again, I won't do, but I could talk all day about it. What Brentford did, they got back behind the ball centrally. So they stopped City going into the front of the penalty area. There was absolutely no way through. I mean, they had to put bodies on the line and blocks, but they put everybody in the middle of the pitch and made City go wide. And that's why De Bruyne played right wing, and Phil Foden actually played finished the game at left back, attacking left back, because the only way to do anything against Brentford was to go round them and cross, and on the day it didn't happen.
Yeah, Brentford absolutely solid, mate. Absolutely solid. And the goal at the end, the winner,
Fantastic.
You'd be buzzing if you had him in your fantasy team and all that.
Okay.
He should have had 4, lads. He should have had 4, Tony.
Okay.
I don't get to see him live, but he's the real deal, Tony. He's the real deal. He had a volley from the edge of the box, a snapshot. He had the header. He was back defending. He is absolutely the real deal. And I know people like Callum Wilson, and he races away and he gets those hamstring injuries and he plays on the last line. But I can't imagine that anybody does the whole pitch like Tony did on Saturday. And of course, he's 18 out of 18 for penalties. I think it's a mistake that he's not gone to the World Cup.
What's Zaha on penalties?
I don't know. But
you mentioning another player that I've had got in my. I know what this guy's doing. I'm not stupid. I know what he's doing. I'm not stupid. he's dropping the thing about Tony because I took him out of my team last week because he was suspended. I didn't put him in. Now it's all about Zaha because he missed the penalty. I know this guy. I'm not stupid. I know his game. All right.
Hey, put him back in, mate, because he is hungry. And with my own, and everyone knows this anyway. But just seeing it with my own eyes, he is absolutely starving.
Well, really, you've got unlimited.
Someone said to me yesterday, he could be. Is he good enough for United?
Yes. If it's a 22-man squad and they keep playing Rashford through the middle, Martial plays for 1 game and he's out for 3 weeks, then they put Rashford back through the middle, then they play without a centre forward, he could walk straight into Manchester United's team presently.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about
free to play in Europe as well. Interesting.
Yes, that's true. Rod, let's talk about your second favourite team, then, Newcastle. Wow. 7 points.
No, not team, manager. I like the manager, not the team.
Okay, your manager. Okay. And they've won their last 5 games. Wow.
It's goals and impressive football as well.
True. I mean, they've scored the least goals in the top 4. They've got 29. But
talking over the last 4 or 5 games, they seem to scored a lot, like 3 or 4. Or, they've scored a few in the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah. The thing is, in all fairness, I know it's easy for me to say now because obviously we're only 15 games in, but they don't look like a team that are gonna let off. Do you get what I'm saying? They look on form. I know obviously the World Cup coming isn't a good time for them, so we don't know what they're going to be like coming back. But given their form, 5 wins in 5, they're the informed team. This break has probably come at the worst possible time for them, hasn't it? Given the momentum that they got.
Yes, probably. But Eddie was pretty astute. He'd probably sit down, assess where they're at, and see where they are going forward, and plan for the future. And so when they come back, they hit the ground running, and they can assess who they can bring in and who's available. But he'll probably leave no stone unturned and just ready for him when they come back, like I say, and hit the ground running. But yeah, ideally they want to carry on because they're on a good run at the minute.
Are they a better team with that San Maximan?
Yeah, better team. Yeah,
he's a maverick player, isn't he? He's like someone you bring on the last 30 minutes, like a circus act.
Agree.
Yeah, he's a very tricky and pacey player, but there's been a lot of standout
when he's
players
on his game, you can't stop him. He's unstoppable. So
well, didn't he give Carl Walker a run for his money? Was it Carl Walker at the beginning of the season in the free?
Yeah, he was awful. He was positionally awful that day, Walker. But yeah, quite right. Give credit to Saint Maximum. And
not many people do that. He run him ragged that day.
Yeah, ragdolled him. But in terms of their squad overall, obviously Trippier has been a standout player. I think Nick Pope's been a fantastic signing. Sven Botman looks like the real deal. I know he had a good game against Chelsea, got stuck in quite a bit. Guimaraes and Joe Linton, brilliant. Almiron in the form of his life. And as you mentioned earlier, Steve, Callum Wilson. Now they've got Isak to come back from injury. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a Asprilla moment, but he's another player that can really cause defenders trouble.
Totally right. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, he got off to a fairly good start and a quick start, and then hampered now with injury, but he's just allowed other people to step up. And there's British players like Willock and Dan Burn, and we must mention Nick Pope in goal. Again, they're having the time of their lives. They're all in peak form. And, there are a lot of players in the Premier League who are capable of putting in a performance, but they lack the consistency. But at the right time, Newcastle seem to be all playing well together at the same time. And, again, credit to the manager.
I think the signing of Trippier as well has been a massive signing from his experience, his confidence, and his quality as well on the ball. It's and no surprise that it made him skipper as well. But since he's come in, he's just been a stalwart, and 8 or 9 every week. And obviously, it must help with his experience as well, where he's been, who he's played for, England player.
He always plays well with a left footer in front of him. I mean, really stretching some memories here. It wasn't that long ago, but like at Burnley, the format for Burnley when he went there was him and Ross Wallace. Kieran was the right footer, and Ross Wallace basically playing like Almiron. And obviously, you're seeing the form of Kieran, but also the form of Almiron now. I think that's the right way to do it. I think Almiron was in and out of the team, in and out of form, but Trippier was playing. But once Almiron started to do a little bit, you're seeing the benefit of Kieran coming from right back, stepping into right midfield, crossing from deep, but also feeding the left footer. And he really understands that partnership between right footer and a left footer in front of him. And it'll be interesting to see if England do that with possibly Saka, possibly Foden.
Well, you'll know as well as I do, as being a fullback, maybe a winger or a midfielder. Sometimes you just start play with players, and you just click, and some players you don't with, and obviously it's working out. So
yeah,
you can see that with Almiron as well.
He definitely plays better with a left footer in front of him.
Interesting.
There's a comment here about Willock developing and looking like a decent player. Got the winner at the weekend against Chelsea. What are your thoughts on this player? Because obviously he came through Arsenal's academy, and it hasn't been a thriving academy over the past few seasons. We've seen the likes of Maitland-Niles breaking through, and people will argue that Martinelli is one of theirs, but you can't really.
Well, with Willock, he didn't really get enough game time, so he's got game time. A really good coach that improves players. We've seen that because he took over from Steve Bruce, and some of these players were with Steve Bruce, and some of the players you wouldn't even notice because they've done a total 360, full of energy, attacking. And we see the player that they're playing with now. So he must be feeding full of confidence. And we've seen that with his goal on the weekend. Fantastic finish. And he's another young English player that's getting enough game time now. And you're seeing what he can do.
Totally agree.
I don't want to talk about Man United just yet because we can segue that onto the Ronaldo situation. But let's quickly touch on Spurs, a club who were quite active in the transfer market in the summer. Conte went crazy signing of a few defenders, a few midfielders, and Richarlison. And Son has been anonymous this season, hasn't he? He got the hat-trick against Leicester. But I don't think he's really done much this season. But yet here Spurs are. fourth in the table. Now, with Kane not firing on all cylinders, and by that I mean he's not at the 15-goal level yet, if I'm not mistaken, and Son not obviously having a decent season, there's been a lot of emphasis on Kulusevski, who's been in and out of the squad, Richarlison, who hasn't really done much this season in the league. Bentancur's been scoring goals for them. They're getting goals from defensive possessions as well. I mean, Davis scored at the weekend against Leeds. And just like the Bournemouth game, Spurs came back to win it. Is that resilience, or is it just the opponent switching off? I mean, we've got to give Spurs some credit, surely.
Well, they're very tough. They're very fit, very resilient, as you say, very organised. And, you know, obviously I don't know Conte, but you understand that an Italian coach is likely to have a defensive mindset. And I'm not really against it, because I know everybody wants to be entertained, but, you know, these guys play professional football to win. They don't play professional football to socialise. And if they can entertain, it's a bonus. But if you've got Harry Kane in your team, you must be confident that you will score a goal. And obviously just put a little bit of flair in it. As you say, Richarlison, obviously, there's been a couple of injuries, but you can understand why the manager, with his defensive mindset, if he keeps clean sheets, they're going to score goals. And they're going to, if people think they're going to push, they obviously want to push Arsenal. They're not going to push City, and they can be better than Chelsea, and they might be better than Liverpool this year. So I don't know the stick that they're getting, but people seem to be bored by him. But I think it's a results business, and he knows what he's doing, obviously.
Well, things you mentioned, keeping clean sheets, they've conceded 21 goals this season.
I think the frustration thing, sorry to interrupt, Stel, the frustration thing with Tottenham fans, why are they not starting, like, as soon as they have a goal conceded against them, they seem to kick them into gear? Well, why aren't they doing that, pressing that from the start and playing that exciting football? But all that I'm hearing on the radio is Tottenham fans moaning and saying, oh, it's too defensive, it's this, it's that. And once we go one down, but you're still winning, you're still third in the league, what do you want?
Lads, can Harry Kane actually, I know everyone's gone press crazy. We know he can run, and we know he comes back from injuries quickly, probably too soon. So we know he's fit, durable. But can you press with Harry Kane, or have you got to find another way?
Yeah, I suppose it's different when Son and Richarlison, they've got a lot more energy. But yeah, you just want him in the danger area and just save all his energy to be in that position. But
I agree that
he drops deep. He's a very good passer the ball. He can spray it like any midfielder. But do you really want him to be doing that?
No, equally. But if he went speeding around, putting defenders under pressure, he obviously does it quite well anyway. But if he went sprinting around, you're not going to get 90 minutes or many goals out of him. So I think actually their style of play is built around their talisman, and that's it. That's Kane.
12 goals, 1 assist this season for Harry Kane so far. Think about his 14 games played, which is a good return. Let's get it right. But there's something not right about Spurs going forward this season. I don't know whether it's because they've been unlucky with injuries. As I mentioned, Richarlison's been injured. He hasn't hit the ground running. Son in and out of the team, out of form. Now he's injured. Obviously, he's going to play in the World Cup. And Kulusevski, he is a massive player for them. Massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah, every time he comes on, every time he plays, he affects the game, and that's what you want your best players to do, and he definitely does that. His energy, and like I say, he affects the game in a good way.
Steve, talk to me about Liverpool, mate. This season they've been quite inconsistent, in my opinion. And I don't know whether it's down to injuries or maybe just the defensive frailties, because we've seen so many teams getting behind them, especially in wide areas. In fact, we pointed out their flaws about 2 years ago. We said they play such a high line, their fullbacks go so far forward that eventually they're going to get caught out, and you can't keep relying on Van Dijk. And here we go. A lot of the goals that they've conceded have stemmed from wide areas. But I can talk about Sadio Mane being missing all season, but you know, Jota's been injured. Darwin Núñez has struggled to find some form. I know he's got 5 goals this season. Salah's only got 6. Harvey Barnes in and out of the team. Thiago in and out of the team. And obviously, there's been a lot of shuffling at the back. Tsimikas has been playing. Robertson was suspended at one point. Kanate injured. Matip has been injured. Where do you begin with this team, honestly?
Well, you've covered it really well.
Well, I don't know where to start though. That's the thing. You start from the back, and you start at the front.
Well, we know that Van Dijk is still possibly the best centre half in the world, but we know he's not the same player since the injury, and he plays on the left of the defence. It's not always it's not awkward, but it's not always stepping out with the ball, to the correct function. Robertson's creaking a little bit now with injuries. I'll come to Alexander-Arnold in a minute. My opinion of him. Alisson is an absolute stick-on. He's obviously the best goalie in the Premier League or the second best, both from Brazil. And you've still got Salah, who's doing it in bundles now rather than more regularly. He's doing it in little spells, but you know he's going to do it. But if you think about it, the midfield is never the same. It's actually never the same pick, but it also never looks the same 2 weeks running. The front line is never the same, clearly missing Mane. And I believe that last big injury for Alexander-Arnold, which cost him a place in a tournament at the Euros, I think from that moment he's recovered from the injury, but he just simply doesn't sprint. He doesn't sprint forward and he doesn't sprint back. And he just and I don't believe he can't defend. I believe he can. But it's that right foot of his. It's only second to De Bruyne. And he tries to get himself in that corner box position where he can cross into the box. And like I say, he's not that much far behind De Bruyne at how good his delivery is. But unfortunately, at the top level, you have to sprint. Now, I think he's fit. I think he runs around. There's no problem about that. But I'm pretty sure when he started his career and everyone thought he was great, he was sprinting forward and sprinting back. Now, because of the tears, the muscle injuries and that, I don't think he sprints. So the likelihood is he's going to leave gaps and he's never going to fill them.
I saw that he made his debut back in 2016. But he became a regular the following season. So he's been playing week in, week out since 2017. That's 5 years now. And I know he had long COVID, and as you mentioned, he had that injury, but you're seeing more and more Liverpool players getting burnt out. Now, yeah. I can ask, is it down to the manager? Is it down to the training methods? Is it the amount of games? It's probably a combination of everything. But it doesn't look like the squad has the depth that it really should to be mounting a title challenge.
No, I totally agree with you. They're all creaking. Well, not all. Largely they are, but they've put hell of a shift in over the seasons to get some recognition, to get the trophies, to get the Champions League, to get the Premier League. But physically, not necessarily football, but physically, some are past the peak.
Well, if you think about it, it's been a big drop-off. It really has been for a club that was very close to winning the title last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
For them to, look, we could point to Mane leaving being a factor, but sure, that can't be the only reason. It can't be. It can't be that. Surely they weren't that reliant on him, unless they were. I don't know.
What do you think, Rod?
I just think, that it's a number of things. Aging squad, players not playing to the maximum, massive miss of Mane. And people don't realise it until a player leaves that how big of impact he has on the team. Or like we used to talk about then, the partnership you gain that he had with Salah. It's just not as easy to bring someone in and they can just recapture that. But they still, when they do play though, they obviously they beat City, who's the best team in the league. Yes, it was a good game, so they beat them twice this year in the space of 3 months. So that's no mean feat. And it's just the Forest game, which was the other one. There was another one as well that you just think.
Well, they lost to United. They lost to Leeds at home.
Leeds. That was the one, wasn't it? Leeds at home. But it's. I'm sure they'll turn it around, but it's not going to be easy. They've got, like I said, they've got an aging squad as well, aging team. Henderson's not getting younger. Milner, Van Dijk, I'm hearing is not going to be there much longer. So yeah.
Is there a saving grace for him in the sense that Jota's going to miss the World Cup? So by the time the league resumes in December, he'll be fit and ready. You got Salah that's going to have a long break, and obviously he's their man. And Firmino's not in the Brazilian squad, so he's going to have a bit of a rest. Is that something that they can, you know?
Firmino's not had a bad season, to be fair. If you look at his stats, he's up there with assists, and he scored a few goals lately. They just need to get the partnership right. That Darwin Núñez seems to be getting better. That's going to take time. It's just a process. It's just a process, and obviously it's taken longer than they would like. They set such a standard with City that they've dropped below that standard, and people are going, what's going on? But they're still as good as United. They're still as good as Chelsea. They're still as good as Tottenham. It's just that level of City that they've dropped, which is a very, very high level. We're talking 100 points a season. And no, not many teams have done that.
All right. Chelsea, because I know we've got a few Chelsea fans that are watching this. Blimey, new owner, new head coach, but it seems to be the same shit with Chelsea. And again, another club that 2 years ago were European champions with many of these players.
Doesn't help.
Again, a massive drop off. Now, again, is this a playing staff issue? Because we saw Christensen leave, we saw Rudiger leave. But there's some players
could be a coaching issue.
Here we go again. Shot number 3, yeah? Graham Potter. Listen, I feel sorry for him because he's come in at a time where he hasn't had the chance to bring in any players. A lot of these players are crap. What are you laughing at? It's true.
Come on, this is not Burnley. This is Chelsea. They've got a very good squad. They've got a squad that's just won the Champions League a year or 2 years ago. So that half are still there. Come on.
I don't know, man.
Why are you playing Raheem Sterling, right wing back? What is going on with that? What is that about?
What is his options? Reece James is injured.
Come on.
Reece James is injured.
You don't put like someone like that at right wing back. He's a goal scorer. Look at he scores goals. Put him in the right areas, he'll score goals. They put defenders on the back foot. He's not going to do anything over there. And defensive plays. He's in there.
Chelsea's been a poison chalice for many coaches. We saw Villas-Boas come in there. We saw Scolari. We saw all these other coaches come in, and hardly any of them, most of them didn't last a couple of seasons. I think it was only like Ancelotti lasted 2 or 3 seasons. He had a long tenure at Chelsea.
No, but if anyone's successful in that model, it's been Chelsea. Mourinho, Conte. You just said, what's his name? Who's gone to Madrid? Ancelotti. Then Tuchel comes in and wins the Champions League. These have all had like a year, 2 years in the job and won major trophies.
Right, and Potter's only been there 5 minutes.
No, I'm not obviously talking about Potter. I'm talking about the model that Chelsea have had, which is a strange one. Sacking managers every 2 or 3 years, but still being successful, winning major honours. I'm sure Tottenham would have cut your arm off for one of their major honours because they've not won one since 2004, 2008. I'm sure Arsenal would. They've not won the league in 2004, 2005. So at least Chelsea are still winning leagues, FA Cups, Champions Leagues. So it's going to take time, isn't it? It's obviously not got a strong enough squad. They've bought Aubameyang in, which is a bad egg. We all know that. But he's inherited this. So he's going to have given time. He's not an elite. Sorry, before I finish, though, he's not an elite coach like Eddie Howe. He's going to have to, get some better players in and see what he can do.
Yeah, I've got a question for you both, lads. Listening to all that, and I was thinking about, obviously, I'm a City supporter. I've seen City perform unbelievably and win the Premier League without a centre forward, and now we're seeing a centre forward at the Etihad who could end up being the best player in the world. Certainly, probably the best centre forward in the world at the moment, alongside the conversation with Lewandowski. But all these teams that we're discussing about where they're coming short, leave Tottenham out of it. They've got Kane. Have they actually got a centre forward? So have Manchester United got a centre forward?
No.
Have Chelsea got a centre forward? I do believe it'll be Arsenal's undoing in the end because Jesus, he's just so hard working and guaranteed, I think, to get 12 or 15. But is that centre forward behaviour? If you think of Fulham in the Championship, I know they all did great, but why did they win it? They had the best centre forward, Mitrovic, and when he doesn't play in the Premier League for them, you don't think they'll win. You think Brentford will win because they've got Ivan Toney. It's not disrespecting the other teammates, but surely to God, the elite teams, you live and die off your centre forward. And Chelsea Rhodri's just mentioned Aubameyang. Is he or isn't he? Rashford or Martial, are they or aren't they? And I think you get your answer from me because everybody's fit, everybody's got skill, they're all technically good, and they can all fill the shirt. But the best teams have got top centre forwards, and I don't think United have got one, and I don't think Chelsea have got one.
Agreed.
Well, when you say top centre forwards, do you mean out and out goal scorers? Because
I think I
mean goal scorers that these clubs should be having they've had in the past, the Drogba's,
I think I am, yeah.
Even the Kerry Dixons, you can go back that far. They score goals, goal scorers. Are going to get you 20 goals a season. You can hang your hat.
You look at the Chelsea fixture, you obviously can't guess the team, but you think, I wonder if Havertz will get one today. I wonder if Mount will get one today. I wonder if Sterling will get one today. Whereas you go into City and you think, well, Haaland will score. You go to Brentford and you think Tony will score. You go to Aston Villa, if he's playing, you think Danny Ings will score. No, obviously that Danny Ings isn't Chelsea level, although he's played for Liverpool. Yeah. But what is a team without a top centre forward? I think not much.
No, you have a point. You have a very good point.
And I'm not sure we develop them either. It's another issue. Harry Kane, how many tournaments has he got left for England? How many? And then what's underneath him? Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, Tammy Abraham, Tony, Wilson. And I do believe we've touched on it before, but these academy systems now all developing teams in a 4-3-3.
I've not thought about that. That's a real problem because they've always had top strikers through, aren't they?
Oh, even like Ian Wright, Ferdinand, Andy Cole, Michael Owen, Teddy Sheringham. It was always centre forwards. Well, obviously Shearer, yeah, but that was because everybody was playing 4-4-2 back in the day, and you were less developed somewhere else in the team, probably in midfield. But you were always having a go at it with two centre forwards. Now the game is awash with one up front, 4-3-3, two wingers and a centre forward. We haven't got any centre forwards, and unfortunately, there's also a big gap in the market for even the top clubs. And City have got one. A few people have got them as well, but United and Chelsea haven't got centre forwards.
I think that's where United will fall short in this next round because Barcelona have one in Lewandowski.
Absolutely. You'd think over 2 games plus extra time, a proper centre forward will score. We don't even know who'll play up front for United on the night, so that shows you the gap, in my opinion.
But the thing is with Chelsea, I think it runs deeper than them not having a centre forward. I think Broja looks very good.
Rookie though.
Yeah, I know he's not going to get you 15, 20 goals, but if you look at the players that he's got around him,
he's not going to get you 15, 20 goals. They're not winning anything.
They've spent some money though, haven't they, on crap. Who's the kid they've just got rid of? Gone back to Germany. He was about 50 mil.
Batshuayi.
No, Batshuayi?
No, not Batshuayi. No, the small German kid going back to not Havertz.
Tino Werner.
Tino Werner. Havertz they paid 50 odd mil for. It's just paying 50 odd mil for like 7 or 8 goals.
Yeah. But their best central defender is Thiago Silva. I mean, don't get me wrong, Koulibaly is brilliant, but he's not the same player as he was at Napoli. He really isn't. And you look at the back line. Okay, Reece James is injured. Chilwell is constantly injured. They're having to play that kid, that left back, that made his debut against City. I forget his name. Hall, is it?
Italian football, that Koulibaly, Italian football is a lot slower, a lot more. It's a big difference to the Premier League. So he's just not. Obviously, Thiago Silva's at that age, but he just hasn't suited it. Not what I've seen, anyway.
Mm-hmm. They're relying on Chalobah, the centre back. He came in the other day.
The keepers are coming in and out. 70 million quid in the keeper, they don't even play. There's a lot of you can go with United, United, Chelsea. have spent recklessly on crap. Literally, you go over the last 10 years and you could probably reach £1 billion on crap.
So United have spent £1 billion since Fergie retired. So
no, but I mean, there's some sprinkles of decent quality there, but most of it,
a combination of crap.
70-80% of it is just rubbish.
And then what they're going to do with this Garnacho? If he's as good as they say, he's getting all his goals from the left wing, exactly where Rashford gets them. This Garnacho won't be able to be kept out of the team for much longer. And then Rashford will go and get lost as a centre-forward or get lost on the right wing again. So I don't know where the progression is for centre-forwards at United unless they go out and, they tried to get one with Ibrahimovic and things like that, but there's a void. There's a massive void.
It'd be kicking themselves with Greenwood thing, because if this Greenwood stuff didn't happen, sure he would be playing as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Shall we? No, I don't want to talk about United just yet because there's a few other clubs I want to discuss very, very quickly. So Wolves are bottom of the table, but they brought in Lopetegui, if I'm not mistaken, the Sevilla head coach who was at Real Madrid for like a cup of coffee after he was with the Spanish national team. I don't know how that's going to go because joining a club that's in a relegation battle, okay, albeit there's another 23 games to go and obviously there's time to turn it around. That looks like a big gamble. Southampton have changed managers. Everton languishing 17th. Their fans are booing their players off the pitch. Iwobi threw his shirt at the fans. They threw it back at him. They don't want it. You got David Moyes, West Ham in 16th, and you got Leeds with Jesse Marsh in 15th. Unai Emery. Let's quickly talk about him, boys. Aston Villa, 2 wins on the bounce. In fact, their win against Brighton was their first away win of the season. He replaced someone, didn't he? Someone who was supposed to be the next Liverpool.
I've got a problem with this, though. I've got a real problem with it because I don't understand it. With these players, how they just switch and just they obviously something didn't connect with Steven Gerrard with these players because it's like a totally different team.
Do you think he had a little bit of an ego?
Well, you'd think you would have sniffed that a bit in Rangers, wouldn't you? You didn't have a sniff of that up there. So, or did we? I don't know. But I just think that he was probably shoved in a deep end too soon. In hindsight, he should have stayed in Rangers a couple more years, got a bit more experience. But some of them players are letting down. But then you see Van Duzy or whatever his name is, he's playing now. And he didn't really play under Steven Gerrard, and he's played really well. So some of the players that have not played under Steven Gerrard, who've come in, have looked really, really good.
So, do you think it was losing Michael Beale from the coaching staff?
Michael Beale, the Mings thing is obviously.
That's what I was about to say. Is that the one throwing him under the bus?
Possibly. You only need one bad egg in the change room. Stel will tell you that. Just one bad egg and it'll just poison everyone else in everyone's ear all the time. Negativity. So it could be. It could be. Because why would you do that? And then you give it to someone like McGinn, who seems like a quiet mouse who just gets on with his business. Leads by example anyway, by his work rate. So why would you give him captain? Doesn't seem to be like a vocal character. So that was a strange one. And Emery's took it off him straight away and give it to the keeper. So that tells you everything you need to know about that. So, yeah, it's a strange one.
Steve, Emery wasn't a big surprise, was it, given that he was already linked to coming back to England? But Aston Villa, they talk about sleeping giants. I mean, I don't know how high he can get them in the table, but he's got them playing well and grinding out wins. So,
yes. Well, I didn't like the fanfare that he gave at the start, but you do have to have a bit of ambition and a bit of confidence in yourself. But to say that Aston Villa can be a top 4 club and winning big trophies, I don't fall for that. I don't believe that will ever happen. But obviously, you can't argue with the start that he's made. He's obviously got presence. He's obviously got experience, and we'll see if they can maintain it.
The thing is that's the normal procedure for many head coaches, isn't it? When they get a job, it's like, oh, this is a big club. They haven't won a trophy in a long time, and this and that. And Villa will always talk about winning the European Cup in the early '80s, and they'll talk about winning various trophies. And in fact, the last time they won something was under who? Was it Martin O'Neill? Was it even before that? Ron Atkinson? I can't even remember.
1992, was it? The Carling
Was it
Cup?
Brian Little?
No, I was actually there.
I was.
Was it
Against United? That was Big Ron.
Was it Big Ron? You sure?
Yeah, because United were on course for a domestic treble that season.
No, 92. Anything.
92.
Yeah, 92.
Didn't Villa beat United in the League Cup final?
Yeah,
in 94.
It was when Leeds won the league that year, wasn't it?
Okay, hang about. Let's have a look. Aston Villa. Okay.
The years mixed up.
Where are they? Club honours. Last time they won the FA Cup was in 1957. They won the league.
They got beat off Chelsea. Remember Di Matteo's goal after like 15 seconds? That was against Villa, wasn't it?
They won the League Cup in 1996. That was the last time they won something, 96.
Yeah, so for a sleeping giant, not very good, is it?
How long is the giant asleep before it's dead?
No, but you can say that about Forest, couldn't you, as well? You know.
Yeah, true. But, you know, he's come to the club and obviously he's got his own philosophy. And you know what? I think he's got a score to settle with the Premier League, given his 1 year, 1 or 2 years at Arsenal, which didn't really go to plan. Yeah. So he's obviously got something to prove. But he did really well at Villarreal, so we can't shit him for that.
What's the betting when he comes against Arsenal if he beats them?
Oof.
your mate Lee Gunn will be happy.
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who you're talking about. Jesus. Right, Rod, Man United, new head coach. Started the season a bit topsy-turvy, 2 defeats, but he's done well so far, hasn't he?
United, Ten Hag. Yeah, he's done really well. He's come in with some difficult situations, obviously with Ronaldo, but you obviously hearing some of this interview that's coming out. By all accounts, one of his family members was really ill, so that's why he was staying in. But we'll have to wait and see about that. But yeah, he's done really well. You can see that Man United are slowly but surely getting an identity of how they want to play. The players that he's brought in, Martinez, excellent. Casemiro, excellent. Don't know why it took so long. The only really thing I've got really to think about that I can't quite comprehend is why he put him captain after the guy walked off the pitch and didn't want to come on, and then a week later he's captain. But other than that, handled the situation well. The Maguire situation, the Ronaldo situation. And like I say, they seem to be going in the right direction. Long way to go yet. But it's all in all, it's positive. Even though we're 5th, we'd like to be stronger. It was a rough start with them 2 4-0s or them 2 poor defeats against Brentford and Brighton. But since then, it's been really good. Yes, you're going to have your odd blip, which we've had. You know, the City one, which wasn't good. The Villa wasn't good. But you know, they bounced back and got two wins since then. So go into the World Cup upbeat, and we'll see where we are when we come back. But to answer your question, yeah, I give him an A-. I
think Eriksen's been outstanding. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
You know,
Eriksen.
And you know, I don't want to be that guy to like make the comparisons, but I think Eriksen is clear of Bruno Fernandes as an overall footballer, man. He's just
that's a given. That I think they're totally different. They're different players. Eriksen and everything he does, his quality, don't really waste much. Where Fernando is constantly wasting stuff. He takes a lot more risks, and I'd say Eriksen is more like a precise, efficient, very good technically, left foot, right foot, assists. Now he scored a goal. His energy, can play 6, 8, 10, whatever number you want to play. So yeah, really good player, and for free, he's just an absolute brain. Well, when I was in Danny Murphy on the Talk Sport, is Ericsson's not a United player. Like, you pissed. He scores goals. He keeps the ball. He's a footballer. He plays the United. Just I don't understand it. No, they're not going to play. They won't be able to play together. Bruno Fernandes. That's why in the radio, Danny, not coaching.
Steve, I want to talk about Fred very quickly because this is a player who he's been criticised for so long, and under this head coach, he looks like a completely different player. What has Ten Hag done different to like Mourinho or Solskjaer, or what do you think he's done different to change this player? He's in the Brazilian squad for nationals for the World Cup now.
Yeah, limit his running power that he has, his willingness to run, discipline it and tell him where to run, it looks like to me. Basically, from the halfway line to the 18-yard box of the other team, and maybe sit on a deep midfielder and press and then get back and do it again constantly, as opposed to running all over the field where the ball finds you and you keep embarrassing yourself by shooting, chipping it over the bar and passing it into the row 3 of the side. So I think he's limited what he has to do with his limited ability, and said be very, very good at one or two things rather than not very good at loads of things.
Okay, so there's two more players before we talk about Ronaldo. First of all, Jadon Sancho. Wow.
Who?
Yeah, right. Now, I thought this player would thrive under this coach. I've seen obviously highlights of Sancho at Dortmund, and it's almost as if he's one of these wingers that invites defenders and invites them to commit themselves. But he doesn't do that for United. And it's like, okay, Anthony's come in, Rashford has come to form on the left-hand side. Obviously, Garnacho, as you mentioned. Is there a future for Jadon Sancho at United?
Well, I'd have to say that when you go to Dortmund, yes, it's a big club. When you come to a club like Manchester United, it's a totally different animal. And I see a scared footballer that's not willing to take risks, not to be brave, always wants to play the easy pass, go backwards, sideways, instead of taking and taking risks. That's what you do as a United footballer. And I've yet to see that with Jadon Sancho. It's just nice, pretty, doesn't seem to overexert himself, and just not good enough for a 70-80 million pound player. And if he carries on like this, he won't be here much longer, because it's just very, very, very poor. You can see it, he's got it in him, but you have to
it's got to be psychological. It's got to be psychological.
Yeah, you have to be braver, especially when you're playing for Manchester United. You have to be able to take risks, one-on-one, commit and attack. And he doesn't do that, and not often enough for me.
Okay, and a player number 2 who you probably completely forgot about, a certain right back that was bought from Crystal Palace, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, Dalot has been fantastic. I mean, I never used to be a fan of Dalot's, but I think he's come on leaps and bounds again, and a coach that has trusted him. But yesterday, with Dalot suspended, Ten Hag decided to go with Malacia at right back and completely shunned Wan-Bissaka. He's done, isn't he? That's it for him. He's done. But the thing is, this coach hasn't even given him a chance. So
no, he's obviously seen what he's seen in training.
Yeah.
It looks like he's playing football with flippers on. Told you this before. He's someone, whoever pays. No, it's just, yeah. He's a good footballer, but he's not a Manchester United footballer, and he's clearly out of his depth, and needs to go back somewhere and regain his form that he did at Crystal Palace, because he is a good footballer. But like I say, it's some players come to different clubs and it just doesn't fit, and it's just not worked out. It's not worked out at all. His defensive play is okay. He's good. His one-on-one is excellent, but his distribution is just shocking for a professional footballer. Shocking.
How many games has he actually played under
I haven't seen him at all this season. I haven't seen him once.
I don't even know, because it just seems that the moment Ten Hag walked through the door, he made his cross.
No, but like you said, you've got to give Dalot credit because we all didn't see this coming out, how well he's played. He's been brilliant. Another player that's shone under Ten Hag that we didn't see coming. But yeah, like on Sunday night, you'd expect the traditional right back to play right back, especially a £50 million right back.
Rhodri, do you think? I mean, possibly overthinking. Do you think it was tactical also because they were playing against Willian, who's never going to run down the left wing because he's not got the legs? He's only ever going to come in on his right foot and just invite the left-footed defender to go and play right back, so he steps onto that encounter. I mean, I know people do it on the other side. I know Neville mentioned it in commentary, but are they really worried about Willian stepping inside, do you think? Because he's never going to get to the corner flag, so why play Wan-Bissaka? Because he just slides wingers off the pitch. So play the left footer and you can maybe come out with the ball and counter-attack up the field. I wonder if Ten Hag has been that technical in doing so, or did he just want to put Wan-Bissaka in the freezer?
That's the only reason I can think that he's done it, but if you are Wan-Bissaka as a fullback and you're someone's put in front of you as an opposition fullback, you're not going to be happy with that. That must spell everything you need to know. Because even if they play against right-footed, left-sided players all the time.
Yes,
should be used to it by now. So yeah, it says a lot that by not playing him, and he's on the bench.
Well, I know Wan-Bissaka was out for the whole of October with a back injury, but he'd only played one game in the league this season. That was against Liverpool. That's it. One game.
And that's when he
was on the bench.
He come on.
Yeah. And then after that, he was on the bench against Southampton, and he hasn't even been in the squad since. He hasn't been in the squad. In fact, he hasn't been in the first team squad in the league since the 27th.
We knew this anyway. We knew he had to clear some out. He's got. It's going to take. Not going to take one or two. Possibly it might take 3 transfer windows. You're talking like a year, 2 years away. Yeah. Look at where Arsenal are now. It took him 3 years to get to this point. You'd expect United to get there a bit quicker because they've got more money to spend, but it's still going to be difficult because you've got an animal like City to get past.
Yeah. All right, boys, let's segue on to Cristiano because we've done an hour talking about the Premier League. Let's talk about Cristiano and his comments. All we know is based on some clips that we've seen on social media, on the Piers Morgan interview. He said that he feels betrayed by United. He says nothing's changed since the last time he was there in terms of technology, in terms of the kitchen. A lot of stuff hasn't changed since Ferguson was there. Now, I'd like to know your take on the situation, because for me, I think signing him smacked of desperation. From the moment it happened, I was like, this is just, I don't know the main thought process behind this. Did they honestly believe that this guy will come in and be the same Cristiano as he was in 2009 or even up until 2018? He wasn't going to be. And when I see people like Rio Ferdinand bigging him up and all that kind of stuff, great. You know, Ronaldo's back at United. The fairy tale is returned. But he carried the club last season. However, with this new head coach, we knew that he wasn't going to be in the frame. We knew it wasn't going to happen. He's not the kind of player that Ten Hag rates. So, boys, your thoughts, shall I say, on what he said, or what we know has been said so far, anyway.
Go on, Rod.
I don't agree with it. When he first come, I remember when he first come, everyone, and I do mean everyone, United fan was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Started off really well, top goal scorer. Obviously, the Ralph Rangnick was confusing to everyone. But you know, Wayne Rooney's come out and said so. Wayne Rooney's done the almost the exact same thing, but there's a difference. Wayne Rooney kept it in-house. He's gone out and spoke to a reporter like Piers, who's obviously got a friendship, Piers Morgan. And it's just, the timing of it is annoying to me. It's just, but we know it's all about Ronaldo. I disagree the way he's been treated. I think he has been mugged off a little bit. We don't know the circumstances of him staying in Portugal. He obviously wanted to leave, which I don't agree with. He's got a 2-year contract. If you want to leave, you can leave. By all accounts, he could have left, but no one come in for him. So that's not United's fault. So then he's got to knuckle down. And some of the stuff he's done, I can understand it, because when you come into the end of your career and you're being treated like a mug, basically, and some of the players that are playing, you know that they're not fit to fix your shoelaces, but they're a bit younger, they've got a bit more energy, and that's what the managers decided to go with. So you've got to respect that and respect it and support your teammates, and he's just not done that enough. The young kids just won the game late on for United, and 2 hours later, no one's talking about him. We talk about Ronaldo in this daft, stupid interview. And it was the same against Tottenham. We great win against Tottenham, score late on. We talk about Ronaldo walk off the pitch. It just seems to be a recurring theme. We all know about the ground, the training ground, all the other stuff.
It's nothing new. It's nothing that we didn't already know about.
That's nothing new. People have been screaming about that for years. So he should, if he had his ears wide open and not lived in Ronaldo world, he would have known that. So, but the drop in, if you go back to when Ollie had him, Ollie's got the sack. Michael Carrick took over. I think they played Villarreal, they won 2-0. Then they played Chelsea away and they drew 1-1. And Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play; he was on the bench. I can't remember a big fuss about that being put out there. But then he played the next game against Arsenal when they won 3-2 and scored 2 goals. But I don't remember him kicking a fuss then. The Ralph Ragnick thing, you can see why he's kicking a fuss with that, because the guy, no one knew who he was. No one.
He said he doesn't even coach.
No,
he's not even a coach.
It was just bizarre. It would never happen at Real Madrid, an AC Milan, or an elite club at Barcelona or PSG. It was just, so we know that the people upstairs are stupid and don't know what they're doing. That's what the Glazer Out campaign has been about for nearly 20 years. So it's just the way he's gone about it. It's wrong, just totally wrong, by going out of house and dealing with it. It's just petulant. And for someone experienced like that, he's obviously wanting a move, and he'll probably get it now after this.
Steve, City fans are saying we dodged the bullet here.
Which one with Maguire? Oh, hold on.
Oh, yeah, I heard it at the time that the owners of City wanted it, shirt sales and what have you. And Pep Guardiola presented to them about the running stats that had, failed miserably in the last 2 seasons. And I think they were even going to sanction Bernardo Silva for Barcelona and Cristiano Ronaldo be the replacement. But I think Pep Guardiola did a presentation to the owners of City of the merits of the 2 players. And I think the idea, I'm guessing, obviously I don't have the ear to the ground that much, but I think the idea was to take Man United as far down the path as possible with interest that they would sign Ronaldo with actually having no intention of doing so. And United thought they'd got a coup, whether it be Alex Ferguson, Patrice Evra, Rio Ferdinand. They thought they'd turn City over, but so they did with Harry Maguire and Alexis Sanchez. City have took them down the path at least 3 times.
My initial reaction when I saw the footage, I thought, do you know what? This is a power play. This is a power play. This is a footballer who is in the back end of his career, and his stock has obviously dropped because he's not been playing. But this could be his team saying, right, let's see what we can do from a media aspect. Let's see how much fuss we can kick off, how much interest there's going to be in this. And we could say to whoever is interested, here you go. Regardless of whether he's not playing or not, he's still a fucking draw. He's still a pull. He's still box office. So I think they've played a blinder from his I wouldn't say PR, because he's gone down a little bit in terms of the people's views on him. But we haven't seen the full show. So I'm sure there's a lot that's going to be said, that's going to come out, and a lot of people might actually change their mind about him, because we know the issues that he's had off the field with his child passing away.
Well, this is what I'm going to say, Stel. If he says to me that he was there because one of the other daughter was seriously ill, what are you going to say to that when a child's just died like a month ago, and within a week he's back playing? What do you say?
Yeah, because he played against Arsenal, didn't he?
Was it like Arsenal? So what do you say that I was staying in Portugal because my daughter was seriously ill? That's what I'm hearing from what you're listening to Piers Morgan, who's talked to TalkSport today. So when your child's ill and literally a month before one's died, you're gonna stay there and you're gonna do what you need to do. But it's just the clarity. Why didn't you come out and just say that? It's just the unknown. So everyone speculates, and because it's Ronaldo, it's front page news, it's headlines. It should be everyone right buzzing now. We're talking World Cup, here we go, but we're not. We're talking about Ronaldo.
Rod, do you know what confuses me most about this situation, though, is this interview. I don't think it was given like 2 or 3 days ago. I'm pretty sure it must have been at least a couple of weeks ago. You know, it might have been even after City.
Well, no. This, by the sounds of it, he was not told. He was told that he wasn't starting against Aston Villa on the Thursday.
Right,
and then on that night, on the day, he rang in saying he was ill, and they've not seen him since. So in between that time and now, he's done the interview.
Right. Okay. So he's done the interview. Now, again, I don't know how it works at Man United, but I'd have thought that Piers Morgan would have had to get permission from surely the club to get that interview. No, I mean,
obviously not, because the club didn't know nothing about it, because they've just put out a statement like about 2 or 3 hours straight after. I'm sure they'd put a statement out straight away.
But this is it. When you got, because look, I've tried to, you know, when I've had to try get interviews.
He's not going to alert the Manchester United style. They're not going to alert what they're doing. You don't need to tell them what they're doing.
No, well, yeah, but what I'm saying
is what I mean. He's gone rogue. He's just going to done it. This is the problem. Right. This is what I'm saying. Well, Ray Mooney's done it. Oh, he's got yeah, but he did it the right way. He's gone into the manager's office and I'm not happy. Blah 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 blah. I want to move. I think he did it twice actually, if I remember quite rightly. So, but you know, Wayne Rooney always get a pass. He was the ultimate team player, and it's just and these people, can they not have opinions? They've all got opinions. I know some of them are stuck up Ronaldo's ass, but not everyone is. You know, Rooney speaks his mind. Paul Scholes speaks his mind. You know, Gary Neville speaks his mind. But you know, sometimes some of them are just clubmen. They're just absolute kiss-ass clubmen. Where I don't think Rooney is that. He just speaks his mind. Where the others are politicians.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. The one thing I will say, though, is I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot to come out on that interview that we're obviously not privy to now. And I still think there's going to be a few things where people are going to start to say, right, I can understand where he's coming from. He's made to be the villain, because obviously giving Piers Morgan a fucking interview ain't the best look. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, it's not as if he's gone on Jonathan Ross to do that, and he's gone to someone known for being a total prick.
Let's know it right. He's not going to do it on MUTV, is he?
No. But you know, he could have done a lot better than.
He's done it with his mate. This is his new elbow. It's his new mucker. Imagine having a mucker like that. Literally a fucking scumbag like Piers Morgan as your mate. What a clown. Absolute scumbag who hacks people's phones. Rat.
So what is there anything that Ronaldo can say? Oh, sorry, is there anything that he could have said in that interview that obviously we haven't seen it yet? But do you think there's anything that could come out that will make people change their opinion on him or change their mind about?
No, because it's still the way he's gone about it. If you, I suppose, it's just. I just think United supporters will always back the manager, always, especially a new one that's coming in that seems to be changing things around. You know, always. especially in this situation, because he's just at the end of the line for him. It's just too many things. Like, come on. Yeah. And the stats say, that don't lie, that when Ronaldo doesn't play, United play better and win more. And that's ultimately what it's all about, winning football matches. So if the United play better without him, then cut the ties, cut a political cord, and get rid.
Steve, point of no return, right?
He's going to unload on the Glazers.
No return. No return. No.
By the sounds of it, he's going to absolutely unload on the Glazers. Getting paid $500,000 a week, and he's not actually unloading on them. Who does that in any walk of life? You go into your boss and just absolutely hammer him, and you're still getting paid the next week. It's crazy.
Well, they can only fine him a maximum of 2 weeks' wages.
Yeah, that's it.
You're seeing people say, "Oh, he's going to be fined $1 million."
Still $1 million quid.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's great the headlines and the narrative. Oh, he's been fined $1 million. Well, no, it's 2 weeks' wages, and that's the maximum he can get fined. So
when someone turns down $350 million or pounds for 2 years, then not worried about money.
Well, there you go. So, what do you think they're gonna? Is there any way that the Glazers can cancel his contract for saying these things? Is that gross misconduct?
I'm sure they can pay him off, paying him $12 million, but they won't pay him 12. I'm sure they'll give him they'll come to some agreement. But yeah, I'd be astounded if he played at Old Trafford again. Astounded. Yeah. Because to say you don't respect the manager, he's just an absolute rebel.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't respect him. He doesn't respect me, so I don't respect him. Come on. You're 37, 38. Go. Wow.
Oh, fucking hell. All right, boys. Well, one more thing. Let's try and do this in under 15 minutes because we've done an hour and 15 minutes. The World Cup. It starts on the 20th. Qatar against Ecuador. The opening game. England play Iran on the 21st. Wales play the United States of America. Cyprus ain't in it. Oh, well.
Oh.
I don't think we're too sad about that, in all fairness. But
Greece in it?
No, they're not. They're worse than Cyprus, believe it or not. The coefficients are worse. But
very hard to believe.
Are we? Fuck off. Are we excited about this? Because obviously we've never seen this happen before. Being played in the winter months. Are we excited? Because I don't see any, Union Jacks or any England flags in the supermarkets. It's almost as if like it's not even happening.
I think because of the surrounding of where it is. The Netflix documentary, if you've seen it, the FIFA one. It's a murky business now. They've got that murky business, and the people supposedly have died building this thing, and it's just going to be strange, and it's weird. People are getting ready for Christmas, jingle bells, and World Cup's on. It's just going to be strange, isn't it?
Steve has been tight-lipped.
Not got me in any shape or form yet, but.
Both of your nations are in it. Wales are in it.
No, I'm sure once it starts and you get in that World Cup mode and it gets going, but it's not going to feel like a World Cup. It's going to be. We're going to be watching games at 4 o'clock. It's going to be dark outside.
4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and there's going to be 1 o'clock games as well. In fact,
in the pub, in the beer garden, none of that. Everyone's going to be watching in their house, freezing, no eating on, no food in the cupboard.
No, man, people go to pubs. Go to pubs, surely.
Well, buying a pint down there for 12 quid. Are you mad?
Well, I don't know. I don't drink. So people. Do you know what I'm saying? Still, people are tightening the buckles and belts. Yeah.
Shutting the wallets. It's Christmas round the corner. It's none of this beer garden stuff. It's a couple of skull and watch the game.
So, do you guys have any favourites for the tournament? Do you think it's going to be?
Just can't see past Brazil or Argentina, really.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. When I seen that Argentina squad, but Brazil as well. Can't see past them. 30 degrees, 30. It's still hot there. The report was there today, and he was going. It's 32 degrees now, and it was 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, well, and then England play when? 4 o'clock? Midday? I know. I mean,
let's have a look about England.
4 o'clock they play.
1 o'clock is their first game against
but
Iran on the 21st. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The time difference. Yeah.
So it's gonna be sticky, humid.
Don't these stadiums have aircon in them or something?
Come on. Have you ever been in a hotel room and slept the night with the aircon on? You wake up like
yeah,
weird running about in an aircon stadium.
Well, you'd have thought they'd have thought you through.
No, but it's going to be. It's good. It's different. It's weird. You've never done that before. No one's experienced. You don't know the after effects that it's going to affect on you. You just don't. It's running about, and it's not like it's not like 82 World Cup where they're just like walking and passing. They're going to be proper sprinting about. You know what I mean? Stel, everyone's got the socks down. Hey, just booting about. It's none of that business. It's press.
It's just so underwhelming, man. I was talking to Rob, a friend of mine who's in the United States. He's from Paraguay, believe it or not. But we're talking about it. He was like, it's so underwhelming. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, literally, no one gives a shit.
Because they know how they've got it. It's Russia and Qatar. It was got by brown envelopes, big fat ones.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't have happened. It should have been in US of A and England or somewhere appropriate that can hold it and don't torture and chop people up in rooms because you're a reporter. You don't know what you said.
Saudi Arabia.
Same ethics. Same ethics. All right, you can walk down the street with your mate, holding hands, and not going to chop your hand off. Something like that. Place like that'd be nice to go to. No,
probably is that bad.
Let's say I'm not going. Let's kind of like I'm definitely not going to Qatar. Definitely not going to Qatar. No, but it's just crazy. It's crazy. Yes, the players are sticking a mic in your face. Oh, what do you think about this? The football players, they're just there to play the football. It's nothing to do with us. We're just, World Cup's there. We don't want to be here, but what do you want us to do? Not come to a World Cup. So they're in a sticky position.
Well, when was it announced? When was it announced? Do you remember what year was it that it was announced that it was going to be in thing? Was it 2015 when they announced
2015 it was, yeah.
Right.
So you watched the FIFA thing on Netflix?
I've watched most of it, yeah.
Yeah, at the end, or the last one you see it all, but yeah. The murky business, and definitely got it.
They've had 7 years, right? And if these players, no disrespect here, but if these players or if these football associations weren't happy about where the tournament was being played, why didn't they just say we're not doing it?
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, well,
if they're not happy about it, why do they say that? Are they making a lot of money out of it? Are they?
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. It's all about money.
But this is what I'm saying.
Have you seen the size of Qatar? Qatar is the size of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
It's the size of Yorkshire. It's just like, yeah. It's if they didn't have billions and trillions of dollars, it wouldn't be happening there.
Is it me or is there feedback? Can you hear something?
Yeah, I can hear.
Hang about. What have we got here? Oh, Steve's gone.
No, that's it. It's in his phone. He's had enough.
Well, mate, look, all I'm saying is that it goes back to the whole moral dilemma, doesn't it? You got all these people that are so up in arms about this competition being held in Qatar and these footballers, and they don't want it there, but they're going. If you feel so strongly about it, don't go. Like, don't go.
No. My cousins, let's go over there. I'm like, you mad? I'm going over there. I've been asked to go over there to coach 15, 20 grand a month. No.
It ain't that bad. Honestly, it ain't that bad.
I know, but it's just, it's not for me.
No, Dubai is brilliant, man. I mean, I've been there quite a few times, and I like it. But the thing is, to be honest, I just go and do nothing. I've got a mate that lives out there, so I go visit him. He's got a gym out there, so I go visit him. He's with Tate. He works with Tate.
All right, yeah. Seen the guy. Seen him picture.
So yeah, like, but I gotta go see him. Got a few other mates out there, but it's just a chill, man. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't go out. I don't rave it up.
I've
Nothing.
just got Costa del Sol. Actually,
Right.
I haven't been there for years. I go to Portugal, to Villamora. That's my place now. I love it there.
Yeah.
Villamora, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's somewhere I'd like to go. I mean, I was in Tenerife a few weeks ago, and that was nice, really nice, actually.
Now this Villamora, it's lovely. They've got a nice little marina there. It's beautiful. Beautiful it is. I love it.
Okay, brilliant. All right, well, I don't know where Steve is. I think that's it for him tonight. I think maybe his battery ran out or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for jumping on, my friend, and great talking to
problems.
you. And I'm sure we'll do something during the World Cup.
Yeah, and speak to Roy, have a word with him. Amateur hour.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, I wanted to speak to Steve quickly about Brandon Barker because he played well for him on the other night, but he's not here. He's gone.
But it's one game. It's not,
No, but it's sign of progress, man. It's sign of progress. I thought that with this new manager, he wasn't going to get a chance because obviously he was Lennon signing, but he's given him a few games. He's done well, especially the other day. So
new managers come in, clean slate. Someone kicks. I like the look of him, and then you're off running, have a good game, and then that's football, mate. It could happen.
Yeah, exactly. But hey. Anyway, that's it for another episode. It's been a while since we did something like this, so I'm sure we'll be back in a few days. Or let's fucking do a World Cup one. Fuck it. I don't know how many shows we're going to do during the World Cup, but I'm sure more people will be tuning in. We'll
have them when Wales smash England to death.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. All right, boys and girls. Thank you, Bet On Alfa, for sponsoring us. Until next time. I was going to say Bameshilakam, but I'm only having been playing. So, yeah, have a good night, boys and girls. And we'll be back Wednesday with an interview with... I shouldn't have said his name because it was a bit surprise. So, yeah. Bye, everyone.